think it starts with where we left off. Is agents. You're absolutely right. They are definitely agents. Everybody is understanding the power behind it. I know we're very early, but I know we've talked about this. One of the things I understand is if language models become a commodity, where does the value lie? Is agents being able to connect to other services to do things, right? In
Right.
2023, you were able to chat with AI, but what if you can improve the modality? Right now, I know there's not enough processing power to be able to support image models or videos, but the models are getting smaller. The processing of these information is getting better. So instead of us just texting with this agent, being able to, I can almost see where an agent or a friend who can keep you company because you have a, just like the movie Her, right? Where the phone has a camera, so when you're walking around, the phone can see where you are, so you can have an interface to talk to say, hey, I'm here, I want pizza, find me the closest restaurant where pizza is. So they can either go to the city agent and talk and come back, or do a simple search. So I almost feel like everybody, it might not happen in next year, but in the next couple of years, I'm going to hold on to this prediction. Agents are going to be one of the most revolutionary things, and it's going to make, just like the agent you showed for interacting with the inbox, there'll be small tactical agents that'll come on, but envision a future where some of these will be able to interface, and you won't even have to think about it. It just becomes a natural way of you interacting with the environment, including language models.
Absolutely. I think there's going to be a lot of use cases in the what do you call the augmented reality space, where you can just wear a goggle and now you're interacting with some of these agents as well, right? It's going to create these artificial worlds, or trying to help you decipher something when you're operating somebody. Or I mean, there's many what do you call the voice of God in your ears, right? It's going to tell you, hey, I see that, why don't you pay attention to this? So these kind of interesting things are going to show up, and I'm very excited about this.
And I know the next one we want to talk about was the small language model. I know we've touched about it a couple of times, but I feel just from an adoption to your point, right? Like if everybody had to have an NVIDIA card in their computer to be able to use language models, that's not going to work. But for example, Gemini Nano is now available in Pixel 8 phones. So what
Right.
does that mean? That it is a small enough model, and now everybody in the phone can have access to it. I think that's where the main adoption is going to become, is when ease of access, ease of being able to interact gets better. That's one side, right? But we also have to have a quality product. To your point, some of these language models are performing in certain scenarios as well as a big model. So are these language models just like agents going to be specific to, I'm going to have a healthcare small language model, I'm going to have a retail, I'm going to have a travel small, I don't know how it's going to all play out, but I can see a future where some of these language models are easy for a customer. What 80% of what we use a phone for, can we create something for that specific things, right? So I can see that happening. I haven't played around with Phi 2 or Nano, but those are things we will be doing in 24 to be able to, share with the audience here on some of the things that, how some of the use cases associated with small language models.
Right, and I think you hit it right. Like it's the very early use case is definitely going to show up on the phone, because you already have these. Every phone has a voice input, right? Either it's Siri or whatever Google has. So we are already talking to it. Now it's going to be an extension of that particular thing. Now to break it down and call a bunch of APIs, it could be as simple as that, right? It need not be. So now you use the large language model to figure out what the user is asking in much more granular level. Go fetch it uh, and speak it back. Then it continues to evolve, right? I think in one way, I imagine that being happening, right? There's a lot of limitations, even if it's a Siri or whatever agent, like voice agent you're talking to, it can do only certain things. Now, very fast, it's going to expand. And it could be just calling APIs on the other side, not doing anything smart, but you will see that as a magical thing, right? But now it has more capabilities already.
Agree. I think who talked about it? Maybe it was Satya or somebody talked about how Siri and some of the things we have in our homes, they don't have any reasoning, decision making capability. They're like you're talking to a kindergartner compared to where
Right.
things are going. So it is going to be exciting. The amount of intelligence that's going to reside in some of these smaller systems where you can have meaningful conversations. It's not like a one time you say, I don't know what you're talking about is some of the responses you get, but it could build on each other, right? When the context of conversations you had with the device for a week or a month or years, if you can remember some of the context, then it just becomes a very natural companion to you to talk to without having to reset context every time you talk to it, right? So
Yeah,
all right, I
absolutely.
know we are going into a election year, so we have to talk about this. I
Deep
know
fake.
there are. You just showed a simple tool last episode about how you can take a single video and take a piece out and put something else in there. So it's gonna be deepfake is going to, I don't know if it will impact the 2024 election, but it is going to be something that we have to be vigilant about because there is going to be easy access to be able to create videos of people saying things they never said, right? Voters need to be aware of it. Customers need to be aware of it. Another EU is getting into some enacting some widespread AI rules. Another Congress is also looking at it, but I don't see them passing a lot of legislation going to an election here. But as more startups releasing a newer language model, newer capabilities, people are gonna. It's gonna be just easier to create these deepfakes. So that's one side. The other side is you should be able to create tools and as entrepreneurs to be able to detect these deepfakes. So there's going to be a constant battle between these two things until we get for a foreseeable future. But I think just everybody just needs to be aware that it's possible and question everything before you just assume everything you see or hear is true.
Right. One thing I want to bring to attention is I think stable diffusion turbo is the biggest thing to watch out for. I saw some demos I was playing with where you can actually now with the NVIDIA A10 or higher powerful cards, now you can do real time transformation. You can be. I have a demo, maybe not this time, but we'll do it now, where you can sit in front of a camera where it's real time changing your face into somebody else, right? And that's all people need. Just and then take the other clip and post it, right? It's like now you can be anybody that this system has seen before, and you can create imagery and voice and tones, and it's scary sometimes to look at this. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody just, I mean, enjoy the improvement in technology, but question everything. Trust but verify is, I think, a stance we have to take when it comes to some of the 2024 election videos that we see. So,
Yeah.
all right. So I know we've talked a little bit about it, but chatbots is AI companions. A lot of people, millions of people are talking on character AI. Monthly activity engaging with like virtual Elon Musk, Super Mario, or a psychologist. It just keeps increasing. In the coming year, these conversations are going to start feeling as natural as a FaceTime conversation like you and I are having right now, right? Because the latency is going to go lower, text to speech advances are going to get better, audio driven facial animation is going to get better. So if you're talking to somebody instead of text, imagine being able to see the character respond to your conversations with some facial animation, and the companions will start getting more perceptive, present, and personalized. So it'll go from a more of a passive experience to an active experience. So it could be, so those are the kind of things that I'm excited about. And again, this might not completely come to fruition in 24, but I absolutely see this moving in a very rapid pace in 24, where we are going to interact more with avatars. They're going to start feeling, whether it's for a customer bot, it's for a companion, it's for a teacher, it's for a psychologist. There's a lot of use cases, but I feel like we are going closer and closer to almost like a real time interaction, or almost feels like a human like interaction, I should say.
Right. I think if you take that apart into pieces, right, I think there is most of the activity now is, I think we have come a long way with the voice, like text to voice and putting emotion, putting your actual tone. So this is a major improvement that's already working as expected, right? Now, on the imaging side, I think much of the work is like us, like a single person sitting and talking, not moving that much. But still, I think it's realistic, and we continue to see that going forward. But I think much of this work done in creating a relatable avatar, right? Because it doesn't mean anything if it's a bobblehead talking in a fake tone like me or some other foreign tone, who knows, right? But it has to impersonate me, and I think a lot of that is now being done in the voice side of things. And I think people are already, including me, like when I see something, you can start to relate to, okay, oh, it actually now sounds and acts like me, right? It may not do everything, but I think the beginnings are already there, and it'll accelerate towards that, and I'm excited for that. I think even WhatsApp right now, Facebook has put that you can chat with AI, and there's very limited. It's text based, but it's not avatars yet. But you can see everybody's building towards that
Yes, even WhatsApp, even though it's text based, they put a little
little
GIF
animation.
image, basically, yeah, just an image of a person, so that you just that right. It absolutely changes your perception of your conversation, because that it's a moving face. They're reacting, or there's some expression. So when you talk to them, we know it's a text based. We are talking to it, but it absolutely brings a human element to it. So it's only going to get better. So everybody should closely watch this space as an investor or as a builder. There's going to
and
be lots of opportunities
and the
in there.
language barrier, Rajni, I think we brought this earlier too, right? The meta seamless 40 is like 100 languages. Now you can create voice in 100 languages, and you can actually sound like somebody in that particular region of the world.
Yeah,
These are all things that make people relate to these avatars, and I think each one of these is going to building up towards a real human-like talking avatar.
correct. And it could build into a conversation. Like I go to a store, one of the massage places here, they don't speak a lick of English. So I had to use Google Translate to speak, it was a process, but we got it done. But so it won't be just from a
And
customer service, even face-to-face interactions could get better with some tools like this.
think about cases. I am looking forward to these kind of things, right, where it doesn't have to be perfect, like Spanglish or Tanglish or a mix of English and a local language. This is what people like more these days. It's not like absolute perfect English. No, I mean urban English, right? These I think that's where actually it has to head towards before it's a mass adoption, right? It feels quirky talking to in my native language. When I translate it, it's like 100-year-old Tamil language. Right? I can't talk to it. It's tough.
I agree. We are definitely going through growing pains, but we can see where it's headed. So that is exciting. So moving on to the next one. This is more, this topic better, but I know a lot of companies are, whether you call it as a competitor to NVIDIA, but the bottom line is people are creating models, people are creating the hardware pieces of it, creating chipsets, whether so you have a playground where you can put your own models into it, or you building chipset for a very particular model so you can keep it all within your ecosystem, right? So there are players all over the place. So I want to get your thoughts on where do you think this is headed?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the new projects that I saw was Apple putting out a GitHub repository of tools and how you can take a PyTorch model or port these things to their chipset, right? I think that's one of the moves that Apple's trying to make, where try to bring all these to their ecosystem. On the other side, there are chipset manufacturers trying to make it portable, so all these things can run in their chipset. So I think it's happening on both fronts, and I like to see a lot of progress next year.
I agree. And our predictions will not be complete without our friend crypto. So I know the 23 was a down year, a bear market for crypto, but things are looking up in the last 4 weeks. Bitcoin is back up in the 40s. And I know a lot of this excitement is around the spot ETFs that are be very close to, at least that's what the market is expecting. And I know both Bitcoin and Ethereum have done really well this year after the big drop in 22 and 23, early 23. So with BTC halving, Bitcoin halving coming up, there's always a lot more excitement and more people back into the market. First time entrance into the market. So I feel like 24 will be a big crypto year. But the other reason we don't want to call crypto and AI separate, because everything we're seeing, they're all coming together. So what I mean by that is when we talk about AI privacy, how do we avoid deep fakes? There are tools within the crypto ecosystem to be able to just like make every video stamped with a certain, whether it's an NFT, some kind of way to identify and keep it on the blockchain to be able to identify these are all original. So I feel a convergence between these two technology, not for everything, but some of the things will happen in 24. And with the excitement coming up with crypto, I'm looking forward. I know there's a lot of projects already in the space. Maybe we'll cover it in one of our future episodes. But just the excitement around crypto will pick up. We'll see some convergence, some really cool use cases coming out in 24 is my thoughts.
Yes, I totally agree with that assessment in a sense that I think a lot of foundational elements from cryptography that's in crypto, right, is going to help spearhead some of the efforts in the AI front as well, right? Especially in terms of identity and zero knowledge proof and things like this are, I think, very foundational elements for anything. And on top of that, Web3 foundational models are also going to play a role in bringing some of the AI into useful things. Yes, it's probably a long road getting, because of all the scam that's going on in the crypto and bad publicity. But I think the foundational technology is what I'm looking forward to marrying with AI and trying to get some value proposition to the world, right?
I agree. I know this was exciting predictions for 24, a great way to wrap up our 2023. So I appreciate the audience being with us in our journey in 23. We have a lot more exciting things coming for you in 24. And Balaji, any word before we wrap up?
It's going to be another exciting year. I think we have covered as much as we can this year, and we'll continue to do so next year as well. Looking forward to it, Reggie.